Hey everybody, it's Mike Weller from the Weller Group of Keller Williams Realty here in Yorba Linda. We are here with our July 2020 real estate market update for Yorba Linda. It's the middle of July right now while I'm filming this, and the market's been really hot the last 6 weeks to 2 months. I mean, incredibly hot. But this month, because it was a quarter, we just finished up the second quarter of 2020. I went back to giving you the stats or bringing you the stats quarterly, not monthly. And some of these stats are not going to reflect what's going on currently, and I'm going to explain that here. So the stats we're looking at are for Q2, so April, May, and June of 2020. So that essentially means that I'm looking specifically now at closed sales. And our closed sales, Q2, were down a little bit year over year from Q2 of 2019. We had 193 closed sales in Yorba Linda during second quarter. 2019 second quarter, we had 248. Keep in mind, closed sales for April, May, and June would have reflected sales like new escrows or pending sales that would have initiated somewhere around the end of February or March 1st until about Memorial Day or maybe June 1st. So that really, that chunk of time when the initial COVID crisis really paused the real estate market from mid-March until about April 1 was when we were allowed to again show homes. And then, it took a little while gradually each week for the real estate market to kind of get its feet. By the end of April, I would say, or beginning of May, the market was really doing well and starting to hum. But March and April, from March 1st to the end of April, was fairly slow as far as new sales. Especially compared to year over year. We were comparing it to last year's, hot spring market. So in the townhome and condo market, for example, we only had 38 sales, and the same quarter last year we had 71, and we had 66 sales in the first quarter of this year. So, the second quarter should always, April, May, June, should always be outpacing January, February, March. With the COVID situation, it was very different this year. But I will tell you, even next month when I come back and bring you the numbers, and if I do it quarterly, if I do it on a rolling quarter, which will be May, June, July numbers, they will outpace 2019 May, June, July. So, that period of time from March 11th, March 12th, whenever schools closed and everything kind of shut down until the beginning of April, really hurts the quarterly numbers here. The single family homes, less than 800,000, there were still 40 sales, and that was actually only off from 45 last year, and actually up from the first quarter where we had 35. Single family homes between 800 and 1.4, kind of the middle of the market, the meat of the real estate market in Yorba Linda. 87 sales versus 95 last year, and down slightly from the first quarter when we had 91. And single family homes, 1.4 million and above, so the luxury market, 28 sales compared to 37 sales the same time last year. 29 sales in the first quarter, so pretty much neck and neck with the first quarter. I'm going to give you the inventory numbers now. Well, overall, we have 1.6 months of inventory in Yorba Linda. Again, that's very low. Anything below 2 months is really low inventory. Townhomes, we have 1.6 months of inventory. This time last year, we had 1.8 months of inventory. So down pretty significantly year over year. Oh, by the way, the overall inventory this time last year was 2.6, and now we're at 1.6. Single family homes under 800,000, that entry level market, 0.8 months of inventory. That's hardly anything. This time last year, we had 1.7, which again is fairly low, but twice as much as we have right now. Middle of the market, 800 to 1.4, 1.1 months of inventory compared to 2.5 last year. And the luxury market, 4.5 months of inventory versus 6.3 this time last year. For that luxury end of the market, even 6.3 is lower than we have seen at times over the last couple of years. 4.5 is fairly low for that market segment. So the inventory numbers, I always bring them, or I typically bring them, because I always feel like that is the best temperature of the current market. And the inventory numbers are low. Interest rates are below 3% right now on owner-occupied purchases, and the market is extremely hot. I have not been as busy as I am right now in at least 4 or 5 years, and possibly ever. You know, I'd have to really go back and measure numbers, but we're just super busy. So, but the closed sales are down a little bit this previous quarter. Um, you know, this past quarter, quarter two versus Q2 last year and Q1, and again that reflects the early part of the quarter. When the real estate market really went on pause for a little bit. So that's what's happening in Yorba Linda overall. Um, Check in with me if you have specific neighborhood questions or specific property questions. Like I said, the spring market typically at this point of the year, by mid-July, um, has really tapered off. This year, it's still going strong. So we'll see. You know, obviously, we do have an election coming up this year, and there's a lot going on. So we'll have to see as we get closer to election time what happens. But right now, this is the real estate market is just really hot. So check in with questions. Stay safe. You know, the COVID numbers are trending in the wrong direction right now. I would encourage everybody to just take some extra precautions. Be smart. Be safe. Don't be out amongst a ton of people without a mask on. You know, we don't need to continue the virus spread. Anyway, check in with your questions. Take care. See you next.